Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. This is Red Monk and Wolf Girl's Fargo Moorhead Music Podcast. I am Wolf Girl, or Jerry. This is Red Monk, or Peter. And this is our special guest, Pat Lenertz.
Hey.
Yay! So, this is our very first episode. It's the maiden voyage. And we're going to be asking him some questions and playing some songs. And let's just all have a good time. So...
Let's do this. Who better for a first guest?
Well, thanks, guys.
All right,
This is my first podcast as well.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're just gonna switch off asking you questions.
Sure.
Okay, so I'll go first. Which would be, when and why did you first start playing?
So I was a choir person ever since I can remember. Ever since music was introduced in grade school. So I can remember being probably 7, being in choir, and I always sang, and I was kind of a nervous kid, a lot of nervous energy, and I didn't know what to do with my hands, so I'd be drumming on the desks and kind of causing, some frustration in the classroom to that extent. So I told my dad, when I was like 13 or 14, I really want a guitar, and he thought it'd be like everything else, where I just kind of into it for a while, and then it would, end up in the closet or whatever, and so he bought me a pawn shop guitar. It was a Gremlin guitar. Finally, when I was 15,
Really?
when I was 15, $70. I remember it, $70. And I played that guitar. I didn't even know a chord, I think. And I played it that first night till my fingers bled. Like
Really?
it just felt right in my hands. And then at that moment, I felt a focus that I lacked before that, and I could channel all my nervous energy. I came from a place of extreme social anxiety before music, and music really has helped me overcome all of that and focus, like I said, channel my energy into some positive stuff.
Creative energy.
Yeah. That's was it? Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I forgot what the question was halfway through there.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you answered when and why.
Yeah,
You started playing,
that was
so-
97. I'd be 15 years old at that point.
Okay,
So, yeah. Yep.
cool. All right, Peter, your next bullet.
Well, we got, what was the first song you learned?
So, I was raised Catholic, and the the musical minister, at our church, Jim Dottenwy, was like the coolest guy I ever met. He's also the youth guy too, and he showed. So he said he'd teach me how to play some guitar, and so he gave me some Neil Young songs and a Hootie and the Blowfish song. So my
Really?
first song I ever learned was "Only Want to Be with You" by Hootie and the Blowfish. I think I still remember the. Oh, no. There it is. Yep, still remember that.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been about 20 years now, but but he he would let me stand next to him during the church service, not even plugged in. So I was working on that confidence thing too, right? Just to in the action, and then I finally, after a while, plugged in when I was like 16 or 17. But he also kind of broke the mold for, you think like, oh, Catholic guy, like maybe rigid or something, but he took me also to my first Dead show as well. So he was
Really?
like the cool, yeah, and I still keep in touch with him to this day. I'm kind of recovering Catholic at this point, but I always had an affinity for that. I could still go and hang out at that church, and when he just retired, but when he was doing the music, it was amazing. He had these awesome, really organic choirs, and everything was Americana style music, so it was just gorgeous. I still have an appreciation for, anyway, his style of music at church, I guess. But I don't really go that often. But yeah, so that was my first song, Hootie and the Blowfish.
Hootie and the Blowfish. Nice.
Yeah. That was the time. We all listened to Hootie and Blowfish. We knew that song.
What year would you put that?
That I started playing that song?
Yeah.
Oh, 97.
97.
Yeah,
Okay.
97 for sure. Yep.
Right on.
Yep. That was 15. Yep.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that we should probably switch into a song.
Okay.
I'd love to hear, you're the guest, you choose.
Okay. I'm gonna do a song I wrote just recently, actually. How's that looking? Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is called Let It Roll. Baby, baby, well, I'm feeling low. Well, I don't know what I'm doing later on after the show. Well, I couldn't find a doctor and I couldn't make my bed. Lost my biscuits and they threw me in jail. Tell your daddy, would tell your wife, I've been hanging out here at the edge of the knife. Let it roll, roll away from me. Let it roll, roll away from me. You taught me a lesson that was faded and bold. I'll be dogging on the corner 'cause I couldn't get it sold. Well, I can be a dancer when I'm feeling kind of mean. That was the biggest alligator that I'd ever seen. You call me a shyster, but they're close to being right. I'm just hanging out here at the edge of the knife. Let it roll, roll away from me. Let it roll, roll away from me. Tell your daddy, tell your wife, I've been hanging out here at the edge of the knife. Let it roll, roll away from me. Let it roll, roll away from me. Let it roll, roll away from me. Let it roll, roll away from me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah! You just wrote that?
Yeah, about 6 weeks ago.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
lovely. Very nice. Very
thank you.
nice.
Very
I
nice.
love it.
We got the next question here, which is, what was the last song that you listened to by choice, like not counting elevator music? Or
So we're I have tickets. I'm a big Dawes fan. I mean, you ever heard that band Dawes?
No.
Oh,
No.
well, okay. So Dawes started in 2009, and they're out of the Laurel Canyon area in California, and they're kind of like a renaissance of that sound, which is like Jackson Browne, Crosby, Stills and Nash, Young, Neil Young as well. And so they're two brothers, and then a group with it, but so there are these fabulous harmonies, and this just it's these songs that were just sound like they're carved out of wood. They're so organic and like just really infectious. And for a while they actually had Dwayne Betts on guitar from Dickie Betts' son.
Really?
Yeah, 2015 I saw that tour
Really?
and unbelievable. Anyway, they're probably my favorite band that's like kind of current, ish. So they're playing September 7th at the Palace Theater in Minneapolis. And I'm gonna go see it with my girlfriend, and I would get what's the last song? Oh, their big hit was "When My Time Comes." So that's a really cool song. You guys love them. Dawes, Dawes.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, they're
Actually,
they're so good. Yeah, you'll be right up your alley.
Huh.
For sure. Yep.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
How do you find your music? Because I listen to some of the things you do, like Bob Marley, Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
But honestly, when we're at the jam together, I don't know those Grateful Dead songs you pull out.
Oh, right.
And so you listen to a whole different genre of the Grateful Dead than I do, or something.
Here's what I always loved about what I always did, and I still do this. If I'm watching TV, if I'm in my office, I usually have a screen up when I'm watching something or listening. Then I'll have another browser up to research what I'm
really?
something that pings like what's that? What does that mean? Or so it was always the group. Okay, let's start with the Grateful Dead, sure. But those guys listened to Del McCoury and Bill Monroe and Chuck Berry and who's the country? Anyway, all those influences.
Right.
Who did they listen to? Who did they listen to? And you just go and you find these Venn diagrams of similarity, right? But the thing about that you mentioned too, we had that in common, that Marley connection or whatever. But what else didn't we have in common? So that's what you do is you can explore the commonality, but then the antithesis of that, right? So I'm always about. I got this mind that's always like wondering, like why, and so I'm always just so yeah. But then I really love. I've been in love with the mixtape my whole life. Back when I was a kid, I used to listen to the radio on my tape, and I lose the first 5 seconds of the song. Push the record button. I make these mixtapes, and I just love it. To this day, I can still hear some of those songs and remember that time in my life, 7 or 8 or 10 when I was recording them on the radio. But then, you ever seen that movie High Fidelity with Jack Black and John Cusack?
Yeah.
By the radio shop, record shop guy who makes mixtapes, and that was close to my heart because that's kind of how I was. But so now, with the technology, I don't make mixtapes anymore. You make YouTube playlists or whatever. I make. So then, my friend from Hardwood Groove, he just made me a YouTube playlist. So that's the next thing I get to listen to. So it's kind of neat. Yeah. So it's a lot easier, right? You just put them in a playlist and send somebody a link. It loses a little bit of its charm that you don't have a tape or a CD, the tactile nature of that, right? But it's still cool.
Did you ever do mixtapes?
I was mixed CD era.
Yeah. Well, same thing though. That's the format of the time. But and my buddy Terry will still send me CDs, which I love, because I like that anticipation of what's the next one. Because you could be hit or miss or just kick ass or like a pooper mix, whatever. But you're in it. Like if you're being mindful, you're just right there and wondering what the next song is. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, I like about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Question number 4.
Is your family musical?
My mother is not. My dad, he only would sing in church, like with a group. But he's got a very good voice, but he would never, ever let anybody hear it.
Really?
Yeah, he's too shy. And that's okay. But yeah, I think I got my voice from my dad. My grandpa on my mom's side, he had played a banjo and some pickup jug groups back, like 40s, or earlier even. and he has just so many. At the time when he was alive, he had so many grandchildren and great grandchildren. Lots. My mom, that family has, I believe, 6 in their family, and then just everybody had kids and kids. But he gave me his 1905 tenor banjo before he died. I still have that, so that was a very special bond. Yeah, unbelievable. So, but that's my sister is a fine singer as well. My couple cousins can do that and are into music, but it's kind of sparse actually.
Really?
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
Cool. What famous musicians do you admire and have learned from?
I was thinking about that. That's such a hard one. 'Cause, well, when we talked about how things work into the next, I've always had, growing up, listening to mainstream radio, you listen to Eric Clapton was on the, and that was a huge one for me. Allman Brothers, early on, blues was I had an affinity for that. But I got into country music too, old country music. It just burns through my soul, like Merle Haggard and Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings.
Really?
Oh yes. Emmylou Harris. I got to see John Prine's another one. Pete absolutely changed my life. The moment I listened to a John Prine record, one of the best 2 days of my life. I got to see John Prine one night and Emmylou Harris the next night. And I always say, for Pat, it's a great show when I'm crying. And I just remember basically the Emmylou Harris show, I just cried the whole time.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh
it just like a tears of joy. It's like a soul cleansing experience to me. Music really, on a good night, can really, I feel like it really touches people and myself in general. Specifically if it just feels like it pushes the reset button.
Really?
Yeah, and at a concert, man, it just really moves me sometimes.
Huh.
Yep. Mhm.
That's neat.
Yeah, they play the Minnesota Zoo. You ever been there?
No.
Oh, well, great venue. It's actually the Bird Amphitheater. During the daytime, do all the bird shows.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so at night, so it's like 3,000 people capacity or 2,000, and it's these cement, that's like seating, right? And
Yeah.
so at night, then they have concerts there.
Neat.
It's rad. It's really good. Yeah. Yep.
I
Very
saw
cool.
John Butler Trio played there a while back.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go
Yeah,
see
they
it.
usually come
Like at
every
the zoo?
couple of summers. That they must have a relationship with them. Yeah, John Butler comes back, and yeah. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of concerts there though. Those are
Have
great.
you?
Yeah, my buddy used to live half a mile away, so we would go hang out with him and then just go to a show and walk back home. And
Ah,
yep, very cool.
neat.
Mhm.
I know it's not the same, but we played at the zoo here.
Oh, you did?
It was like they just wanted acts to come in and play
Yeah.
for free for
Oh,
zoo
right.
tickets, and that's all
Right,
it was.
right,
It wasn't
right.
even a real gig hardly, but we went and played, and people liked us and watched us, and we didn't think we were making any money. At the last second, we were tearing down, and a guy comes up and throws a 20 into our tip.
Isn't that nice? That's nice.
So we made $20 that day.
That's nice.
And we got free zoo tickets.
Yeah. And but
We made
it
cute
is
music.
nice when you touched somebody in
Yeah.
the crowd enough for them to say, "Hey, I appreciate you guys," and I was that's just nice.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what we were there for, kind of. It's like you want to reach out to somebody. You
Yep.
don't just want to be that guy up there and everyone wishes you'd shut up or something, or wish you were done.
Yeah,
You go back to
I've
the
been
jukebox.
there too. Sometimes it's like it would have been beneficial for both parties if I just would have stayed home in my basement playing video games tonight.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But the good ones are great too. So
Right?
it's a dichotomy. It's the both sides, and hopefully the good ones make up for the bad ones, or
Yeah, you gotta pay
the
your-
less than savory. What's that?
Pay your dues, right? In a sense.
Yeah, but still, sometimes those gigs still happen. Like I just really try to do my best with trying to find the right person for the right gig, and experience helps with that, because you kind of get wind like this probably maybe not be the best for me, but I know 7 people that maybe they'd be better for.
Right.
Because if I use this analogy, if the person trying to hire you wants to buy apples and you're an orange, no matter how good your orange is, that person wanted apples, and they're going to be disappointed. and it's not going to work out for you either. So why don't you just get an apple like you wanted in the first place?
Right.
And I know a guy who sells apples, so here you go. That's kind of how I look at it. Yeah. Right,
good way to see it.
right band, right person for the right gig, and then everybody's happy.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Positive.
Yeah. Well, we all been there when you're halfway through a gig and it's just horrifying and you have to keep going and.
Yeah.
But that stuff makes you stronger. That stuff. There's a question that I'm jumping to. I'm totally taking this over. Where what advice would I give somebody that's starting out? Is play a bad gig, play a lot of them, play a lot of bad notes. Get to know what that feels like, and that you didn't die because you played them and you had a crappy gig. Because you'll stand up stronger and more wise for the next time. So that's what I tell the people. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There you go. What else can you do? Because those things are going to happen
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
But that's it. But the thought of it, the what if, is so horrifying to someone who hasn't been through that, doesn't have that experience, and that's what I have an affinity with comics too, and it's a lot of similarities, and that's what they'll tell you too: is go on stage and bomb, and you didn't die. It sucks. You remember it. You want to change your behavior for next time, but the world still spins.
Right.
The spherical world still spins. Bringing it back to our previous conversation about flat Earth.
It's not flat.
Yeah, it's not flat.
I can't say that. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I'm not an expert.
That's okay. That's all right.
So I think it's time for another song.
Okay.
Should I shift the camera again for another?
Make sure the camera keeps going. Yeah. Is there any way you might be able to play Sweet Yoga Mama?
Oh, sure.
I love that song. It's been in my
thank
head
you.
all day.
That's a newer song comparatively speaking. It was a year and a half ago, maybe. That song. So my friend Grant Wiegand, who plays in the Vistas, he wanted to start a funk group, kind of maybe that wrote silly songs, called The Godfathers of Greece. This was his baby, and so he wanted. So I can't remember. It was two songs that I wrote, or we wrote collaboratively together. It was Sweet Yoga Mama, which I'll play for you, and then Love Pump was the other one. It's kind of an ode to the whole Spinal Tap, the song from the time. But those two songs were Godfathers of Greece songs, and we actually got to play them on a stage at the Bohemian Family Ramble. He was very adamant about actually being greasy, and I told him right up front when we were just discussing this concept, I said, I will play with you, but there's no way I'm putting grease on my body. That's your thing. And sure enough, he got a big old tub of coconut oil and a bunch of them all greased up. And then we were the Godfathers of Greece, and we played those songs that
Really?
day. Yeah. Okay, so this is called Sweet Yoga Mama. This is written about, conceptually about my lady, Jess. So this
Conceptually?
Well, it's not an autobiographical song.
Right.
Really, but she's my sweet yoga mama, so. And I always dedicate to her or any sweet yoga mamas out in the crowd.
Right.
And there's usually a few, so I think that's an identity thing. I think if you identify as a sweet yoga mama, there you go. So there you go.
There you go.
Yoga mama, running around on your home mouth floor. Yoga mama, you and me find some peace for sure. Sweet yoga mama, play it all that can catch. Sweet yoga mama, I got me some peace of mind. You can run, but it won't do no good. You can fly. Won't get on like you should. Sail away for the wind that's blowing through in your heart. But that's all on you. I said, sweet yoga mama, running around on your hot mouth floor. Sweet yoga mama, you and me find some peace for sure. Sweet yoga mama, play it all that can catch. Yoga mama, I got me some peace of When I'm feeling low, plant the seed for the roots that we sow in your arm. For the wind that's blowing through, can you feel? But that's all I need. I do yoga, mama. Yoga, mama. Yoga, mama. Yoga, mama. Sweet yoga, mama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I love that song.
Thanks. It's fun. It's a fun live one. People seem to like that. It's the funk, you know,
The funk.
simplicity.
I like the breaks.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
A
For
good
sure.
break is just worth $1 million.
Oh, totally, man. And it's so funny because it's just another rest. It's just you're moving the accent, you're moving the space, and it's
Right.
just. We used to have this thing. I used to be in a band called the Legionnaires, and we rehearsed fervently 6 hours a week for 5 years. And so our thing was we wrote these dirty songs. We this country band with dirty
Right.
songs. And what we realized was we had the whole bit like characters and the backstories and the whole thing, you know.
Wow.
So it was this whole like satire thing, and people caught on to that. But what we found out was that the more we rehearsed, the more precise we were, the funnier the joke was. You know what I'm
Really?
saying? Yeah. So we would just totally just rehearse all the time, and then we would go into these different breaks. Like at the time, like the disco break was really cool, you know. So, but then we would do this build up where, God, what would be like a minor thing, and then so then the snare would be like we build it 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and we'd stop for 1 and go, and people would lose their minds,
Right.
for just one rest. So formulaically, it seems simplistic, but it absolutely worked, and those type of things work. The people, I mean, it's a subconscious thing to respond, you know, the human body to these polyrhythms, you know. I mean, it's just tribal, right?
Tribal.
So I mean, yeah, that goes back thousands of years. So they've done studies, anthropologists of the effect of people on polyrhythmic exercise, you know, or
Really?
you know, these multiple complex layering of rhythms and how the human body affects them and stuff. So I mean, tuning into that's what we're talking about. Just moving the rests and the accents, and yeah. So, yep. Yeah.
Brilliant.
What was the question?
The question. It wasn't a question. It was more of a
Musical interlude.
Yeah.
musical interlude.
So, our next questions for me to ask is this one.
All right. Did you have any music teachers, and who were they?
Oh, well, I did mention Jim Dottenwey.
Yeah.
He was a big one for me. I had another, let's see, what was Steve Langemo.
Steve Langwell.
Yep, from Planet Purple.
him.
Yeah, he was great for me. So I bought double sessions because I don't know if I had a little concentration issues back then, but I like to BS a little bit. I like to talk about music as well, not just play it. And so it was a lot more enriching for me to have an hour and then practice with him and do a lesson, but also incorporate conversation. And I liked him as a person, so I was so comfortable. And that at the time is what I needed. Because I had other teachers, and you know, they were great in their own right, but it just didn't work for me, you know. And so that's what did. And he really, I feel like after he kind of blew it open for me as far as like theory and improvisation and scale. It gave me confidence to it's kind of like jumping off the high dive. You just go for it, right? And go for good or bad. And that's again, like we talked about that before, playing 1,000 bad notes. With improvisation, you have to do that. You have to go through that experience to figure out what works and what doesn't work, and so it's So Steve Langemo was huge for that, and I think I learn also from every person I play with. To this day, I think we're never done, at least if we're doing it right, and I love being able to play with so many different people, especially with this brewery pub boom, the acoustic side of things. I've been playing with a lot of duos and different folks, and I think it's just really valuable, and it's fun to host a jam with that kind of thing in that setting where you never know what's going to happen,
right?
And it's usually fun, so yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Pat Lenertz hosts the Tuesday night, every other Tuesday at Side Street.
Yeah. Yep.
Starts 8 to midnight.
8 to midnight. Come on down. Come early, please.
And that's where we met, so it's a good thing.
It's a lot of love in the room. We try to spread love at the Side Street every other bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly was it's once a month for me.
Yeah, that's right. It's so complicated. Anyway, Side Street.
A lot of good players. Yeah, it's a great time. Mm-hmm. I'm interested, like, how you met all these guys. Were they just local musicians you ended up jamming with?
Which one are you speaking in?
Well, the whole band. I mean, you
play Pat Lenertz band?
Yeah, you play with Mike Jenkins, and you play with Trevor.
Here's a great story. So Trevor, I met Moorhead High School in 1998, and he was playing with another band, and then the band I was in fired me, but I didn't know I was fired until I went to the gig and saw them playing. And they dedicated the song that I sang to me and sang it to me. And then after the show, he walks up to me and says, "Well, I guess if you got a band, you can open up for us sometime." And I was just not a tough guy, but at that moment, I puffed up my chest. I said, "Yeah, I got a band." And so I got us a gig basically, and I knew a drummer. So Trevor, so I borrowed Trevor, and we knew a guy who played bass. I knew this really crazy kid named Cody Connor, who was just this, crazy blues guy, and he was just the sweetest kid. And we Cody passed 6 years ago, but we're still the best of friends, and we're called Bad Mojo. And Bad Mojo, okay. And yeah. So that was when I met Trevor. Mike Jenkins. So during the days 2002, 2003, there was a club downtown Moorhead called Kirby's, a very classic venue, and we got the opportunity to play there a lot at that time. We kind of closed the place down, actually, played the last night. But really? Mike Jenkins, not only did he play in the Deb Jenkins band, but he played in a bunch of other bands over the years. But he had a pickup jam band at the time called the Swinging Liquor Pigs or the Flying Pigs or something like that. And I'd watch him there with this full Hammond B3 and the Leslie, just these huge, shake the stage because there's so much weight. And he would just have this monster sound. And I have always had an affinity for organ, especially Hammond organ. It's just an amazing. And sometimes you'll see me, he'll be playing piano, and I love it. But then I'll be like, okay, and I'll point at the organ because I want that now. Like, give me this solo, right? And he's so great at it. And he was a mentor to me without even really knowing him at the time. But he was kind to me. But and then his wife Deb would help us get a few gigs back when we were younger, and I always had respect for him and his family. And 2013, I had the Pat Lenertz band, and our guitar player couldn't make it at the time, so I ran into him, and he sat in for the night, and I just knew that he was in the band. So he's been since 2013.
Wow. Yeah.
So Travis Atwood I played with since 2007. Started with the Quarterly, and then with the Pat Lenertz band, and now a lot of the duo stuff. And,
there it goes.
Well, at least you hear it.
Right.
It's very distinct.
I can't figure out how to make it go more than.
And that was right after my sentence stopped. So that's a good.
Nicely timed.
Yeah. If you're gonna edit it, I mean.
Because we got the other cameras. So
yeah.
We got footage. Hopefully this is all recording.
And how about Travis Nagel?
Travis Nagel, I think maybe Travis Nagel. He played with other bands. See, we're all this crazy extended family, you know, like again these Venn diagrams of similarities, and like he played with someone that Travis Atwood played a band with for a time, and yeah, just one of these like Peter, like one of these folks that can bring all the bacon, fry in the pan, man. You know, sing some songs, play some guitar, whatever you got, you know. And it's just a very it's fun to play with you, but also on a jam puppet master thing, it's a very wise thing to have utility players like that, where I can put Peter or Travis in any context, really, if I need someone to do something. Because with the jam, there's a lot of variables that are happening. Oh, I don't want to play that guy, or stylistically, these people, or, you know, so I'm always, you know, in my mind at least, I'm running around trying to make these things happen a few down the line, and I know that I can just, boom, I don't have to think about it. Peter, you know, we try to alternate, but he's you know, it's a valuable asset. So, thanks.
Hey,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
It really meant a lot to me to be like involved, you know, like I was just coming because I like jams.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're like, hey, you want to come be in it? You know, I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah. It's
That's
a
what I
cool
listen.
thing. I think by design, I like to make the environment really approachable for people, no matter what the experience. Because I don't know if you've been there, but when I was coming up, I'd go to these jams where they were just so elitist, pretentious,
Yes.
and I didn't feel comfortable or welcome, you know. And so it maybe that was just who I was, but I needed a little help. But I like to make inviting to people, and
Yeah.
I think we get a really good product consistently. So
Yes.
I'm proud of that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to way worse jams. We're like, there's always a high quality of musicianship up there, you know, and it's never really a dull moment. And sometimes you're just shocked. You're like, there's a barbershop quartet or something.
Yeah, you were there.
You
That
know?
night. I love that stuff.
Like,
I love that stuff.
You never know what you're gonna get.
I do. I love that stuff very much. Yeah.
And you know, Pat, I have to give it to you. You and Travis Atwood brightened my day when I saw you guys flossing on stage. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I think weird stuff happens when I don't have a guitar. I don't know what to do with my hands. So weird stuff like that. That's funny.
Nice.
Not my attempted floss. There's
I
like
can't
six-year-olds
do
that can
it.
do it way better than I can. Yeah, yeah, that's funny.
How do you handle mistakes during a performance?
I mean, you have a show to do. You can handle it a few ways. You can make it very obvious and glaring to people who aren't in music, something happened, or you can continue to go and learn from it. Hopefully, if on a good day. I mean, with me, you'll probably hear me mess up some lyrics, but there's another note, there's another word, there's another verse, there's another, you know, solo part, and it goes on. So you just keep going. The worst thing I tell people, the worst thing you can ever do is stop,
Right.
because then I don't know. You know, most of the time, the people who aren't in music, who just are casual, you know, listeners, they won't know. They're having a good time. You know, musicians, yeah, oh yeah, I heard that, okay, you know, because that's our ears, we're tuned in, we get it, but no one's perfect, and I certainly am not, and it's all part of life, you know. So
And it's not the Olympics.
no,
Like you practice your whole life for one pole vault
Yeah.
or something. You know, you got another pole vault. coming up.
and that much pressure on yourself is going to be limiting. I feel like too.
Yeah.
At least with me, I play better when I'm having fun.
Right.
So that's always worked for me.
Music should be fun.
Yeah,
It's for everybody, right?
that's right.
Not just for, you know, the extremely talented or good looking or whatever. It's
Right.
like everybody should be able to grab an instrument and contribute, because
Oh,
you never know
totally.
what you're going to get.
Well, totally, man.
You know?
I think no matter what you believe, I think music comes from a place beyond our comprehension and understanding. And I think
This is
there's
true.
some pretty amazing things that can happen with it. My master's thesis actually was music as a therapeutic tool for social work and therapy. So music therapy essentially, but I was in a social work program, so I had to skew it towards social work. But it was just a scholarly, you know, document that states exactly what we already know, that music heals us, and by playing it, but also by listening. And then there's a continual arc of energy on a good night that happens between the people playing music, people listening to music, and then it comes back. It's reciprocal. So, but we already know that, right? So,
Yes. Well put. So, do you get nervous before a performance? You were saying you used to have some social anxiety.
yeah, not very much anymore. I mean, years and years ago. But the last time I got nervous was like backing up all the ladies for the Deb Jenkins like thing, Salvation of Women in Music at the Hodo.
Oh.
Some of these ladies get to sing one time a year, and so I want to make sure that they sound the best they could ever sound by just having the band be just right there with it, So it's very important to me that it sounds good. So I get really nervous for that because I really want to make them sound good. Yeah. But otherwise, I don't know, not too much. If it is, it's your own thing hanging up, and that's the thing too. Like if you're getting involved in that, you're not playing as focused and as free as you can be, because when music's really happening, it comes from your heart to your hands or your mouth, and there's nothing in between. Because if you're thinking about something, you're not feeling it, right? So I try not. I just try to flow with it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. On a good day.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. So you already touched on this, but let's come back to it in case you have anything else you want to add. What advice would you give to a beginning musician?
Go to the jams. Go to the open mics. Play the free gigs. To a point. Play. Obviously practice on your craft too, but just I don't know. Some amazing things happened to me getting together with some folks in a garage, and I felt connected in a way that I had never been before. That it was a definite nudge in a direction. When I plugged the guitar into an amp and sang some old blues songs with some weird kids my age, as well, and it was nice to be weird with them in that way. So
Right.
it's all kids are struggling to find an identity, and they're all afraid to be different, deathly afraid, and that's a tough thing, especially when that life is going to end very soon. I'm speaking of high school or whatever, where the life will be fundamentally different after that, but they don't understand that because it's all focused. So, for me, it really helped to have that guitar, to have that paper where I could start writing. It was very supportive for me, and I just think everybody deserves that, a way to be yourself.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm curious. From when you first picked up the guitar and started learning how to play, how long did it take you to start writing your own original material?
I can remember my first song. I just thought about this the other day, actually spurred on by your questions. It was, I think, 2 years, maybe a year and a half. It was a math teacher I didn't like. I wasn't very good at algebra, so I wrote a song about my math teacher. Yeah.
Nice.
A terrible song about my math teacher.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not hearing that one, huh?
What was it? Okay, this is ridiculous. I probably have not played this since 98.
Oh, really?
And I know it's in D. For some reason, I know it's in D. And I'm gonna sing just a little bit if I can remember it. So back then, power punk was big, right? So these like, sitting in a room, don't know what he's talking about. Smiling out just like a motherfucking light. Yeah, it was swearing. It was very serious. Act like I understand. Thumb up his ass, I can't stand the man. Oh, I gotta get out. I can't believe I knew that. There you go. So that's so very, very, very punk at the time. I think that was
Nice.
Yeah,
I like it.
quality. I have to dust that off for jam. We could do that.
There you go.
So yeah, that was that. But maybe a little more. There you go. There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
I just
sweet.
want to make sure it comes through. Here, nice leads.
All right, jamming some
Okay.
Grateful Dead.
All right, here we go. High little from Reno, I was trailed by 20 hounds. Didn't get to sleep that night till the morning came around. Said I've room, but I take my time. Friend to the devil is a friend of mine. If I get home before daylight, just might get some sleep tonight. Ran into the devil, baby, lonely 20 bill. Spend the night in Utah and I gave up in the hills. Said I've run, but I take my time. Friend to the devil is a friend of mine. If I get home before daylight, just might get some sleep tonight. Ran into the devil, baby, the devil called me there. Took my $20 bill, vanished in the air. Said I'll run, but I take my time. Friend to the devil is a friend of mine. If I get home before daylight, just might get some sleep tonight. Got 2 reasons why I cry, waste on the night. First one named Sweet Emily, she's my heart's delight. Second one is prison, baby, sheriff's on my trail. And if he catches up with me, you know I'll spend my life in jail. Got 2 reasons why I cry, waste lonely night. First one named Sweet Anne-Marie, she's my heart's delight. Second one is prison, baby, sheriff's on my trail. And if he catches up with me, you know I'll spend my life in jail. Got a wife in Chino Bay and one in Cherokee. First one says you got my child, but it don't look like me. Said I've run, but I take my time. Friend to the devil is a friend of mine. If I get home before daylight, just might get some sleep tonight.
Yeah.
Good.
Sweet.
It's a good take. I like that.
Nice. Oh yeah, this is our Bruce. He's our fish over
The
there.
mascot,
Yeah, he's our mascot.
the official podcast mascot.
Hi, Bruce.
Hi, Bruce.
Hi, Bruce.
He'll
Bruce-
actually
Bruce
dance
Gillis.
if you wait. Yeah, Bruce
Oh, really?
Gillis.
Oh, he's got nice.
Yeah, if you wave at him, he'll dance if he's out front.
Nice.
Oh, you know what? I wanted to show you this book.
Oh yeah,
Have you ever
lyrics.
seen this?
The annotated lyrics book.
Yeah, I got this for Christmas one year, but
It's
got
nice
like
to see
the lyrics
the
with
stories, like where it comes from. I love entomology, like where things are from, you know,
right.
and like how do they get apple? Why is that word? That's just a word. What doesn't mean anything, right?
Right.
So that I've seen that thing.
Oh, yeah, right
I
on.
love it.
Haha. Well, there you go.
I love the why, like how did this happen? And,
Yeah.
And so it's like, even like common phrases that we just will say and don't even think about. They all come from somewhere. It's it's crazy. So yeah, I like that book.
Nice.
So we have selected some trivia questions,
Okay.
and I think they're like right in the middle of hardness because there were some really dumb easy ones.
What's regarding what?
Oh, the Grateful Dead.
All Grateful Dead trivia.
We're going on the Grateful Dead today. That's all
We're
right.
doing it, yeah, we're on a
That's
trip.
all right. Awesome. This is more that I've talked about. I talked about the Dead more today than I have in a long time. So this is nice.
All right.
Yeah, this is cool. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the first question.
This is
Jerry Garcia was an unlikely lead guitarist due to which loss?
Oh yeah, his finger was chopped off by his brother Tiff when they were in a woodcutting accident.
Yep,
His finger. Yeah.
middle finger.
Which one?
No, the middle one. Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
I
okay.
hold it here because of my
Oh, yes.
pick. Yeah, it's his middle finger, so that'd be like that. So he can still fingers the pick. Yeah.
Okay, which of the following Grateful Dead albums was not released during the 1980s? Go to Heaven, Dead Set, Built to Last, or Shakedown Street?
Shakedown Street,
Correct.
1977.
78.
78.
Yep.
Produced by Lowell George of Little Feat.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Cool.
Yeah.
The song Scarlet Begonias was covered by which popular 90s band?
Sublime.
Yep. Look at this, he's getting them all right.
I knew he would. She was like, "Are these too easy?" I'm like, "Yeah, kind of." There's a couple I didn't know. So.
Okay, so here's a lyric.
Okay.
Well, I ain't often right, but I've never been wrong. It seldom turns out the way it does in the song. Once in a while, you get shown the light in the strangest of places if you look at it right.
Mm-hmm.
What song is this from?
Scarlet Begonias.
Yep. Scarlet Begonias. Okay.
All right.
Oh, you do a different key for me.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Question. I may be going to hell in a bucket, babe, but at least I'm
Enjoying the ride.
enjoying the ride. Yep. On what day of Woodstock 69 did the Grateful Dead perform? The first, second, or third?
Oh gosh, wasn't the third. I'll say second. I don't know.
Yep. They
Was it
performed
second?
on the second day.
It was marred by technical difficulties
Yeah.
and bad weather. They had a revolving 360-degree stage where they could have two bands set up at the same time and then just rotate it.
Oh, wow.
But it broke because of all their gear.
Oh,
And
no.
so yeah, they had an hour set too, which was cumbersome to them because they're used to playing for 4 hours, and so yeah.
I heard
They did not sign off on the. They didn't make it to the movie because
Oh,
they,
yeah.
they didn't like it, their performance. Yeah. You
I
heard
heard
what?
even that they were getting electrocuted, or they're getting
Yeah,
shocked
they were getting arced.
through their
Yeah,
guitars.
yep,
Oh,
yep.
that's terrible.
Like the microphone.
That's
Yeah.
the worst. I
Yeah.
call it eating fire.
Well, yeah, he said they could say you can see the blue
Oh,
arc
man.
like to yeah.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've had that happen. I've had to be where I have to plug my amp into the same power source as the mixing board, otherwise I will sometimes get shocked through my microphone when I'm touching my guitar. And it's just the dumbest thing, But I think it's because of maybe my in-ear monitors, but I just,
Something's weird.
I gotta be plugged in the right power source, otherwise that will happen.
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
sucks.
Well, it's just an unnerving feeling too.
It is. Yeah, I can't imagine being at Woodstock
Yeah.
with a billion people or whatever watching you. And you're
um,
like, "Nyeh."
So here's the last question. This
Okay.
one stumped Peter, so
Okay.
maybe it'll stump you.
Okay.
From 1971 on, Jerry Garcia usually played one of 3 guitars built for him by Doug Irwin. Which of the following is not the name of one of Irwin's guitars?
Oh.
We have the Tiger, the Wolf, Rosebud, or Skulls and Bones.
Skulls and Bones.
So you know the rest of them are. Skulls and Bones isn't.
Yeah.
Correct.
Rosebud was in the 90s.
Yep.
That was a MIDI capable guitar at that time.
Really?
Yeah. Wolf was first, and then Tiger after that. He actually played four. There was four of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but Rosebud was, that's when you'll see the dual cabling. That's when he started using MIDI. And so like oboe and stuff, like on Space and some of the songs, you'll hear some MIDI stuff.
Neat.
Yeah.
I didn't know he did that.
Yep.
See, there you go. I heard it.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
It's been a while since I talked about the day.
Right?
Well, with the quarterly in the last 10 years, I don't want to say I got burnt out per se, but there was just other, because I as a kid I was just fascinated by the Grateful Dead, you know, and but I did find other music along the way as well. So it's nice I can still go back and listen to shows, certain
Right.
you know, and I'd still be surprised, still be like, oh, cool, you know. So it's great. It's like a family. It never really leaves you, really. So
Right.
yeah, it's cool, man. It taught me a lot about music. It taught me a lot about Americana, because Americana is an amalgamation of so many different styles, and I feel like the Grateful Dead really represents that, a melting pot of.
I was wondering about that. You said Americana. What would you describe as Americana, or how would you describe that?
American roots music. I mean, today Americana kind of means like like country mixed with bluegrass or like folk music. But I feel like it's even bigger. I feel like it's just this, you know, rock and roll is in their blues. I mean, you go down south and you get New Orleans style music, which is influenced by Caribbean and African rhythms, and it's just. Yeah, so that's what I say. I play roots rock Americana with a little reggae in there, but it's all good to me. So
There you go.
Yeah.
I saw this YouTube video, and the guy was saying that rock and roll is kind of going the way of jazz, and that it's going to be like, you know, something you go to college and study. Because, I mean, jazz was that way. Because, you know, I studied jazz in college, and that's kind of where it lives now. People don't listen to a lot of jazz. There's some hardcore fans out there. But it's not like it used to be where it's just on the radio. But, like, rock music, it's still on the radio and it's still relevant that way. But maybe in, like, 10 years from now, it's just going to be, like, something that people study. And
It's certainly,
you know?
at least certain mainstream rock, it appears that it's a little derivative. It's a little diluted, I would say. You know, and then you get outliers and you get people, like, I would say the same thing about country music, modern country music, but then you get Sturgill Simpson, or you get, I actually like Wheeler Walker, Dirty Lyrics, or Chris Stapleton. These people, that's true country music, back again, resurgence of it. And you get that with rock and roll too. I mean, I think, like I mentioned earlier, Dawes, I think they're doing wonderful things with songwriting, and it's a little lighter, I suppose, comparatively speaking. Rock, it's not heavy rock by any means. It's like,
right.
You know, but they get going pretty good. So, I mean, I don't know. I find that whatever they're shoving down our throats, corporate-wise, is probably not the music I'm looking for anyway. But
Yeah.
it's the easiest way for people to access it. But now I feel like that's getting better anyway because of the internet. I mean, anybody can find anything if they just look for it. So I think kind of the great equalizer.
Right?
Yeah.
So this next question might be a little tough,
Okay.
but what's your favorite venue to play at in the Fargo Moorhead area?
Well, I'm going to flip that question on its head and I'll tell you that I have had the best summer in recent memory playing outdoors for children and all the other folks, like playing street dances and like these bazaars, and I played Nevis Muskie Days, and I played at the Maplewood Picnic Shelter. I just had the most wonderful time. Shout out to Dan Thorby of Harwood Groove for getting me connected with all these fine people and playing with him myself. There's these pockets of people that are just dying for quality music, and it's refreshing to play for such responsive and wonderful people like that. So
Right.
yeah, I've really had the. Otherwise, downtown, downtown's got some great venues, and they're all cool in their own ways, and I like them. I like playing Side Street Hodo, Dempsey's Aquarium. I used to love playing the VFW. I mean, they all have their unique voice and their stamp on what they are. I was just having this conversation the other day. It's funny because it's just a building. It's a box, and then you walk down the street to this other box, but that other box is different, and different people go in that box. But over here, this box, it's so weird, the concept of it, if you break it down. But
Yeah.
they're all great. We have a vibrant music scene downtown, and I'm very proud to be a part of it and to see it grow. So, there, I flipped that question on your head.
Good answer.
But yeah, I playing like the Folkways Bazaar for kids dancing and bubbles in the air. That was, or like gazebo at Island Park. That's about as good as it gets for me. I love it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. What is your favorite decade in music? Or let's say just era.
That's tough.
Sometimes
too.
they cross decades.
That's so tough for me because
What is it today?
today would be like 1964. Or I was getting in some 60s soul, Otis Redding. I'm huge into Stax Records, Motown, that kind of thing as well. So Solomon Burke and Al Green and Lou Rawls and Wilson Pickett and Otis Redding and all those soul singers. Because I was listening to that earlier. But yeah, otherwise, every decade has just amazing music. I love diving into an 80s rabbit hole some days, and so yeah, maybe a little tougher for me in the 2000s, but there's still good stuff. You just gotta look for it. There's always a movement led by a few bands, and then there's a lot of derivative after that, because that's the record companies trying to make money based off something that's popular.
Yeah.
And that's with any movement though. Any art is a response to a previous piece that someone made from the beginning of time anyway, so it's always a response of, right? So yeah, that's a very tough question to answer, but I would say currently this 60s soul.
60 soul.
Yeah.
Good answer. There you go. We'll take
Nice.
that.
Okay, so where is your favorite place to eat in the Fargo Moorhead area?
Oh, that's even tougher. Oh gosh, yeah, I love cooking food for people, and I like ethnic food, or I call it world cuisine. All food is just food, but it's like what part of the world. But I love. I'm just gonna be name dropping. Rugsan, you ever had that place? Eastern African, unbelievable.
Oh,
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, like they have this, just amazing way they prepare meat, and they're just so inviting in there. You got to do the Everest Tikka House. I mean, every one of our Indian restaurants are bomb for different reasons. So I mean, and I'm a huge Chinese guy. Very sad that Lucy's 32nd
Aw.
Avenue closed, because then they wouldn't deliver to Moorhead. So
Right.
now I have to trudge all the way to the other side of the universe on 45th and
Right.
like a savage and sit down in the restaurant. I really my favorite food is world cuisine. But that's
World
yeah,
cuisine.
yep.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
cool. So Peter, you want to ask the last question?
Oh my god, we have a last question already. So how can fans gain access to your music?
Well, you can always find me hanging around. I've got hard CDs for sale still while the supplies last. I think that if I record an album again, it's going to be digital next time. I think that's the way it's happening. But my stuff's on iTunes as well.
Under Pat Lenertz?
Yeah, Pat Lenertz Band has an album there. YouTube also tons of live audio for Pat Lenertz Band. Heavy's Ahead is my reggae band, and then the Quarterly, lots of hours and hours of audio and video. So, yeah.
How many bands are you in, did you say? Or do you head?
3 bands: Pat Lenertz Band, the Quarterly, which is my Grateful Dead 4 times a year band, and then Heavy's Ahead. And I play in lots of duos. Pat Wood with Travis Atwood, and Dan Thorby and I play, and lots of folks. I have so many friends that play music, and I like playing, so
You keep busy.
I just want to do it. Yeah, I mean, I look at it like there's a river of salmon flowing in Alaska, and these bears have to get it while they can because someday the salmon won't flow. And so I think it's a blessing that I have a chance, an opportunity, privilege to play music, and I'm going to play it until I don't have that chance anymore because someday that might happen. So I'm just going to live my life as best as I can and play.
Excellent.
Mhm.
Great.
So what do you think? One more song?
Yeah.
One more
Let's do
song.
another
All right.
Original, do you want to do a non-Grateful Dead cover?
Well, you tell me. I can do an original or it don't matter.
I'd like to hear an original.
Okay, I'm going to do an old one that I dusted out. This is early Bad Mojo, 19 years old, written in first year dorm college about a girl that broke my heart.
Oh no.
And,
Oh,
and
no.
it was a slow song, really slow, and we modded it to, again, Sign of the Times, ska.
Ska.
And I haven't thought about this song in years. Me and Trevor Pearson, my drummer, we were just talking about it the other day, and we kind of were practicing a little bit this tune. So this one's called For Pia. That was the girl's name, is Pia.
For Pia?
For Pia. So, okay.
All right.
All right. Been down too far. Jam's all gone from my mason jar. I try to take the road less traveled. Ran into a big hassle. Oh, she's gone tonight. Oh, she turned out the light. Oh, we are no more, but now I know what she's looking for. I know what she's looking for. The sky is dark and I'm alone, wondering if she'll be there when I get home. You are a piece of me gone now. I try to run if I only knew how. Oh, she's gone tonight. Oh, she turned out the light. Oh, we are no more, but now I know what she's looking for. I know what she's looking for. I know what she's looking for. I know what she's looking for.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Cool. I like the
For
chords on
Pia.
that.
Yeah, right?
I like the major sevens. That's nice.
Yeah, it really reflects that emotional heartbreak. Oh, it's just so. Oh, what a sensitive young
Yes.
child I was. Oh, yeah. That's fun.
Oh, man. Cool.
Yeah, well, that was fun, guys.
Yeah, I had fun.
Me
This
too.
is super cool. I
did
want to do
too.
it again. And thanks for coming, man. Thanks for taking time out of your
Oh.
Sunday,
Wonderful.
braving the
Anytime.
storms.
Yeah,
It's like the stormiest Sunday
we
ever.
made it. We made it. So, do you have an idea who's next?
No,
Really?
Oh, I got a bunch of people.
people lining up are
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I look forward to seeing that.
Cool.
That's great.
Awesome.
Thank you,
something.
everybody, for tuning in.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Till next time.